This episode of the SlooPcast is brought to you by the Mad Canadian Barbecue Company. Mad Canadian Barbecue Company is an Ohio-based company located in Cary, Ohio, where they say our seasoning will take your barbecue from good to great. Be sure to hit up the Mad Canadian food truck this Sunday, October 18th, at the Finley Crafted Nano Brewery from 11 to 6 p.m. So whatever plans you had for lunch and or dinner and dinner, be sure to throw that away and go get some Mad Canadian barbecue at the Finley Crafted Nano Brewery from 11 to 6 p.m. off of Tiffin Avenue. Be sure to hit up his social medias to find out more information about him and his food truck. Mad Canadian Barbecue Company, the official barbecue of the Cary High School Blue Devils.
This episode of the SlooPcast also brought to you by the Iron Bean Coffee Company. The Iron Bean Coffee Company is a Ohio-based Toledo, Perrysburg, just outside of Toledo, Perrysburg, Marine-owned, world-class, hand-roasted, micro-roasted, small batch, fresh roast to order. I'm repeating myself. Veteran-owned coffee company. I tried to mix it up, and that was a giant failure, and I apologize. All of their beans are fair trade certified and USDA organic. Integrity is at the core of what they do. What else would you expect from an Ohio company that is owned by a Marine? They do everything the right way, including working directly with farms from far-off lands such as Colombia, Brazil, Uganda, Honduras, Peru, Ethiopia, Indonesia, and other far-off places. Some of their most popular coffees are available in K-Cup. Kyle, believe it or not, the Christmas season is not that far away. So yes, gift cards are available. And if you really like someone, you can sign them up for a subscribe and save service, because that's the gift that keeps on giving. So you can go check out all of these different wonderful coffees and these different wonderful options over at ironbeancoffee.com. That is Iron Bean Coffee, America's local coffee roaster.
Going on YouTube, and the Sloop Cats seems like they're ready for some team chaos this week.
They are Team Chaos. Our chat sometimes is the living embodiment of Team Chaos.
And I love it. And I love it. All right, cool. Let's get this chaos show started.
We've got barbecue back here. You're all invited. Welcome to the SlooPcast. How are you doing today, Kyle?
Doing all right over here. How are you doing today, Jared?
I have no complaints. I have a bunch of complaints, but none I'm going to air on the show right now. So, Kyle, I kind of want to not mess around. I don't want to waste any time. I want to get right into these SlooPicks.
All right, getting right into it. So, no Ohio State game this weekend. So we're going to add in an extra game here to still make it 7 games that we're going to be picking for our Sloop picks. So let's get right into it. First game, we have a good old AAC showdown of UCF and Cincinnati. Cincinnati is I cannot tell what you have here, 21-point favorite here, Jared.
Sorry, put new graphics in.
Oh, changing things up on me. No, it's not 21-point favorite. We have it locked in as a 19.5-point favorite here. 19.5.
Try and change things up, and what do I do around it?
Cincinnati 19.5-point favorite. Jared, I think that's not enough. Cincinnati is just going to continue riding their success. I don't think UCF is as good as advertised here. I give the cover to the Bearcats here.
I totally
the second best Ohio team.
Yes, I totally agree. Cincinnati's out to prove that they belong. That is their goal from here on out, to not just win, but to win pretty. They need to put all questions of talent and eye test to bed. It is not good enough for Cincinnati to win out, or at least that's what their mindset has to be. And I fully expect them to go out here and dominate this football game. When you've looked at when they've played what I would call definitively inferior opponents, Miami, Murray, Temple, they've not just beaten them, they've slaughtered them. Even
Mhm.
Indiana, they put up a decent margin over. It wasn't 20 points, so it wouldn't be a cover by this game, but I think again Cincinnati is motivated not just to win, but to look damn good doing it, and I think that includes getting the cover.
Yep. All right. So chat
Looking,
here.
yep.
Let's see what chat has here. So we have UCF covers, UCF covers, UCF covers, UCF for the chaos. We have a Mountain Union in here. We have an Oberlin College here. And Buckeye Esquire says a cover here. So it looks like most people are picking UCF here to
Yep. Yeah, that's a bunch of votes against Buckeye Esquire and you and me, but our votes don't count in this. So I think we're going to give the chat vote to UCF.
All right. Next up here we have Michigan State taking on Indiana. Noon game on Fox Sports 1. Michigan State is as we locked this in, a 3.5 point favorite. And that's an important 3.5.
Yeah.
That half there. I still got Sparty. I just do not trust Indiana here. I just don't. Michigan State just find ways to win here, and they're going to find another way to win here, and they'll win by a touchdown at least. Yes, and yes, and Indiana is without Penix.
Yeah. Yeah. Penix is just feeling a little stiff in the shoulder. I don't think he's going to be able to work it out. So I don't Penix is just not going to be able to show up and perform. That's the situation at hand here. By the way, can we just talk about for a second? Kyle, who did we say was probably the worst team in the Big Ten East?
Before the season?
No.
Right
I
now?
think we were just talking about it. I think during our secret Patreon episode on Wednesday.
Yeah. I think we were kind of on the fence of like Maryland or not Maryland. No, it was Indiana. Yeah, it was Indiana.
We were saying that Indiana is probably the worst team in the Big Ten East, and I'm sorry, Michigan State is favored. They're a top 10 team favored by 3.5 points against Indiana without their quarterback. What does that tell you about what Vegas thinks about Michigan State right now?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
That being said, I'm still picking Michigan State because it's only 3.5 points. But I'm shocked the number isn't higher.
Yeah. So we got a Sparty, T-Ton Jr. Sparty rolls. We have a Foo Fighters. All right. We're looking at Sparty here.
Yeah.
All right. Next up here, Texas taking on the other Oklahoma team here, Oklahoma State. Noon game as well. This is on Fox. And Texas is a 5.5 point favored over undefeated Oklahoma State.
Number 25, Texas. This tells you how shit the polls are. I'm just pointing it out. It tells you how shit the polls are. Number 25, Texas is favored by 5.5 points over number 12, Oklahoma State. And by the way, it's not enough. Oklahoma State is a farce. Much like Michigan State, I'll say, is a farce. These are not teams that belong anywhere near the top 10. Let's look at Oklahoma State. 10 points over Baylor, who's no longer ranked. 11 points over KSU, who is no longer ranked. These teams were barely ranked when they played. They beat Boise by 1 point. They beat Tulsa by 5 points. They played an FCS school and won by 6 points. Oklahoma State is nobody. Oklahoma State is nobody. They belong nowhere near the top 10. They are not the 12th best team in the country. It's not even close. They are a farce. They are a myth. I'm taking Texas because they need to salvage this season. Then they need to take some sort of revenge for the egg that they absolutely laid in the latter half of the Red River rivalry.
You know, this is the kind of game, in my opinion. Texas showed up the week before. They put up a good fight. Didn't get the win. Could have won it. Should have won it. But I think this is just going to be a letdown for Texas. I have Oklahoma State covering here, but I think Texas might win this game here. But I think it's just going to be a very close game, or Oklahoma State would win in here. But yeah, I'll take Oklahoma State to cover.
By the chat, where are you guys at? I see one for Texas and I see one for Oklahoma State. Okay, there's another for Oklahoma State. Can I get one more? There's one for Texas. Kyle. Oh, okay, there's an Oklahoma. Okay, I think we already counted you, Buckeye Zach. Screw it. We're going. They're picking Oklahoma State.
All right.
Potentially, yes. That is potentially possible.
Yes. All right. Next up, Jared, we have Kentucky and Georgia.
Not enough points.
Georgia is a 22.5 point favorite.
Not enough.
22.5.
Not enough. Oh, we're getting Kentucky. We're getting Kentucky in the chat. It is a lot of points. It is a lot of points. But this would require that I take Kentucky seriously. And I don't. I would love I don't know if that's true. It would be best for Ohio State if Kentucky won this game. That would be best.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it. I do not see it. I do not see it even a little bit, even though that would be the preferential outcome. I think Georgia wins. And I think the only way they don't win by the allotted 22.5 points is if they decide not to.
Mm-hmm.
Can we? This is the points. These are the points that Georgia has given up thus far this season. 3, 7, 13, 0, 0, 10. Are you telling me Kentucky is significantly better on offense than any of those teams? Are they significantly better than Arkansas, who scored 0? Are they significantly better on offense than Auburn, who scored 10? Than South Carolina, who scored... Okay, maybe South Carolina. But there's a decent chance Kentucky scores less than 7 points in this game. 7 points or less, which means that Georgia really only needs to score about 30, 31 points to cover, which I think is totally possible, even with Fedora Bennett at quarterback, which I assume is who's still going to be quarterback. I got Georgia with an easy cover here. Easy cover. I think they win by 30 plus.
I think this is going to be, excuse me. I think this will be really close to the cover. But yeah, I think they'll win by maybe like 24 points. I do have Georgia to cover, but man, that point spread is really concerning to me, because I almost went with Kentucky. I almost did, but I got Georgia just because of their stellar defense they have.
I think we have a narrow margin giving it to Kentucky in the votes. Matthew OSU asks us the question: Kentucky best offense Georgia has played so far? I don't think so. I mean, it's not
It might
If
be,
it-
actually.
It might
be.
Here's the thing, even if it is it absolutely true? Is it definitively true? Are they definitively better than on offense? Because I don't think that they are. It might be the best, but if it is, it's by a narrow margin.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm sorry. I'm not buying Kentucky as an offensive threat. They scored 16 points against South Carolina. They scored 20 points against Florida, and Florida's got a good defense. They did score 42 against LSU, but LSU's dumpster fire right now. They only scored 28 against what is that? Tennessee, Chattanooga. What you really going to tell me that this Kentucky offense is pretty good? Actually, I don't buy it. Will Levis, thank you, Buckeye Esquire. Thank you.
All right. I think now we'll hear from our sponsors. I think this is a good point here. So, do you want to start us off, or do you want me to read a little bit from the Mad Canadian?
I'm going to pull up the website. Why don't you go?
All right, Mad Canadian Barbecue Company mentioned they're going to be up in Findlay this Sunday at the Findlay Crafted Nano Brewery from 11 to 6 o'clock. Why should you go? Well, hear from some of these from some of these reviews that have been left after having some of that delicious Mad Canadian barbecue food. Here's one. Ordered some pulled pork, some coleslaw, some corn for the family, and holy crap, Jared, was it awesome?
Did they say Jared?
No, they didn't. The slaw wasn't runny and overly creamy, and the way it was seasoned was the best slaw I've had in a long time. The corn was fresh and had plenty of spices and fresh green onions on top. Finally, the pork was absolutely fantastic. Very mild, smoky flavor. Not juicy, not dry at all, and very tender. Plan to have TMC cater the next event I have for sure. Many, many more reviews just like that. And man, that's making me hungry to get some Mad Canadian food here. So be sure to hit up the Mad Canadian Facebook, Twitter page, find out more information about him and his food truck and where he's going to head to next. Mad Canadian Barbecue Company, the official barbecue of the Cary High School Blue Devils.
I'm sorry. I read chat and it threw me. Gangland. If there was any money on who could throw me off my game this episode, you just won it. Iron Bean Coffee Company. I already told you why you should buy from the Iron Bean Coffee Company. But I always tell you guys that some of their most popular flavors are available in K-Cup. Well, I have I'm going to tell you about those three coffees. Those are three coffees. One is the Rage Against the Dying of the Light. It is a medium roast coffee. It is a Colombian coffee that is unusually sweet. It has notes of cherry, milk chocolate, and orange. It's a medium body coffee. One of the other ones available in K-Cup is the Ride or Die, which is one of my absolute favorite coffees ever. It's a gently acidic coffee. It has melodic sweetness. It has notes of milk chocolate, cedar, jasmine. It has a real clean finish to it. It's a Brazilian yellow bourbon coffee bean with superb smoothness and flavor. Has some notes of caramel, hazelnut, and sweet cream in there. The other one is the highly caffeinated Fierce, which is the lone dark roast coffee available in a K-Cup. Once again, it is called the Fierce. The Iron Bean Fierce is a dark roast coffee made with 100% specialty coffee beans to give you the edge and confidence to slay your day. It is 100% natural, tastes smooth, never bitter, with subtle notes of earth and chocolate. And again, did I mention it is highly caffeinated? So you can find those coffees and a bunch more coffees over at ironbeancoffee.com. That is Iron Bean Coffee, America's local coffee roaster.
All right, next game here, Jared. We have probably uh, Ohio State fans game that they probably will not want to watch. Purdue and Iowa.
Little bit of PTSD here.
Yes, Purdue and Iowa, 3:30 game on ABC. Iowa is a 11.5-point favorite.
The
Not
question,
enough.
Kyle.
Not enough. Not enough. Not enough. Give me Iowa.
Well, for one, I disagree. And
Mhm.
it's a lot of points for a team that doesn't typically score a lot of points. It's
But it's
basically,
Purdue.
I understand it's Purdue, but Iowa is one of the teams with the most punts in the country right now. So if we take the Maryland game out as an outlier because of the incredible amount of turnovers in that game, let's take the Maryland game out as an outlier for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
They did score. They had a nice margin against Indiana. Indiana, as noted, terrible. So, okay. They beat Iowa State by 10. They beat Kent State, who's Kent State, obviously, by 23 points. They beat Colorado State by 10. They beat Penn State by 3. And it should be noted that was Penn State without Clifford for half of the game. I think Iowa wins this game comfortably, yet somehow doesn't cover. I think is basically what this boils down to. I think that they win this game by probably like 23-13. I think they get real close to covering. I think that the game's not really in doubt, but still somehow fail to manage to cover what looks like a pretty small cover because it's Iowa, because they're a defense, slow, methodic, trestle ball, low scoring team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just don't trust Purdue being able to score that much in this game here. And Iowa just finds way to be able to create turnovers, and I think this will get away from Purdue early on, and Iowa wins this comfortably and does cover. So what do you got here, chat? What do you got here? Do you have Iowa covering or do you have Purdue covering?
We have one vote Iowa. We have one vote Purdue.
we got
two votes Purdue.
We got Purdue wins 42-21. I know. Yes, Iowa winning 10-6 actually.
All right. So wait a minute. Okay, but that's still a Purdue. I think they're going Purdue. Let's let. I see Matthew typing. Let's let him get a vote in. Purdue scored 13 against Notre Dame and Minnesota. Not gonna be much against. Not gonna be that much against Iowa. Iowa covers. It feels real split, Kyle. But I think we're going. Are we going Iowa here for the chat?
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yep, we're going to go with Iowa.
Okay. The chat picks Iowa.
All right. Next game here.
By the way, I need to say this: can Purdue Iowa, or can Purdue Iowa?
They're both correct.
Don't get Purdue'd. Don't get Purdue'd.
Correct.
Don't get Purdue'd.
Alabama taking on Mississippi State. So we're going down to SAC country here. Alabama and Mississippi State. The cover here is Alabama by 17.5. Man, this is just the wrong week for Mississippi State. This is the wrong week for Mississippi State. They got on the wrong side of the road in this game here. Alabama is just going to come out in full force. And yes, Buckeye Esquires, Saban may hang 100 on this team. Yeah, give me Alabama here.
By the way, we have a Mississippi State so far. And we have I'm going to assume Buckeye Esquires picking Alabama with that comment. That's another Alabama. I think, Kyle, you took the words right out of my mouth. Alabama, like a lot of other teams that we're choosing from this game, like Cincinnati needs to prove something. Oklahoma State needs to prove something. Kentucky feels like they need to prove something. Iowa feels like they need to continue to prove something. Bama coming off of a loss, and everyone's like, well, that's it for the Saban era down in Bama. Well, he is getting up there in age. I suppose maybe he doesn't relate to the young players anymore. Oh man, the Saban era is over in Alabama. I'll believe it when I see it. And I don't feel like I'm going to see it this weekend. As Kyle very accurately said, Mississippi State picked the wrong week to play Alabama. Bama's out to prove something. They're out to prove that they ain't dead yet. They might bleed, but they're not dead. Bama wins. Bama wins by a lot.
Yes. All right, last game here. So we're going to the ACC here. Oh, what channel? Yep. No one's going to watch this. This is on the ACC network.
It doesn't. This is I ran out of games to pick a game. That's what this is.
We got NC State and Boston College. This is pretty much a pick 'em from when we locked in the picks here. NC State's 1.5 point favorite, which if we do it now, NC State's favored by 3, but it is 1.5 right now. I'll take NC State here. I really like their defense. Offense is
You're a homer.
No. I like their defense. I really do like their defense, but it's gonna be a really close game. This is pretty much a pick 'em here. So I'll take the Wolfpack here.
Looks like the chat so far is taking BC. So it looks like I get the tiebreaker. And I'm going with Boston College. Kyle, why am I taking Boston College? Do you suspect?
I don't know. Tell me. Is it because
they're the underdog.
Of Hafley? Is it because of Hafley?
It's because they're the underdog. I don't know who wins this. It feels like a real toss-up. And are they an underdog by 1.5 points? Yes, they are. Is that an absurd reason to pick this game that way? Yeah, it probably is. But guess what? For the most part, I don't know, I'm going to pick the underdog strategy. Again, for the most part, has worked out for me this year so far. So I'm gonna roll with it at least one more time here.
All right, that is all 7 games here, Jared. Final thoughts?
That is all 7 games. Final thoughts. I think this is a pretty weak weekend for football. I think this is a holiday weekend in Ohio. This is the weekend where Ohio State doesn't play, and therefore everyone has plans because everyone built their fall plans around that weekend that Ohio State doesn't play. Yeah. So
nobody asked this question, so I'm going to go ahead and ask it.
I guess I'm just not going to finish my thought then.
Nope, you're not. Popular question in the past few weeks. I'll ask it again here. Upsets. What game do you think you could see some chaos this week? Yes, Gangland. Yes, it would have been a good weekend for a wedding. Yes, I know.
They don't plan weddings around the Ohio State bye week in North Carolina.
Texas over Oklahoma State. That would be an upset.
By per the AP, yes, it is. Per Vegas, it's not. How about Syracuse over Clemson?
Possibly. Here we go. Like, didn't they beat Clemson a few years ago at their place? I'm trying to remember if it was Clemson.
I believe there was I believe so. I don't remember where it was, but I do believe Syracuse beat Clemson in semi-recent years.
It was in Syracuse. So here we are in Syracuse again here. So possibly, if you want to look for other ones, unranked LSU against Florida,
unranked
Auburn. Yeah, I agree. Unranked Auburn versus Arkansas.
Maybe. Maybe. What are the chances, if we're just talking pure win-loss, Kyle? What are the chances that you see Kentucky take down Georgia?
None.
0? You're
0.
You're going to go 0.
I'm going 0.
I'm going to take the over there. Only because I mathematically have no choice. But no, it's probably I think it's 5% chance of actually pulling that upset. Looking for upsets, there's just a whole lot of teams not playing. That my overall take right now is that there's just a whole lot of teams just not even playing. Utah could potentially take down Arizona State. I think that's a possibility.
Baylor over BYU. I think Baylor has a pretty good shot as well.
Yeah, I think so. Matthew says Bowling Green over Northern Illinois. I'm just going to take his word for that. I have no clue.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what's happening in the MACtion right now.
Just because it's the Pac-12, maybe Utah over Arizona State.
I already said that. Thank you for listening.
That's
it. Though.
I don't know.
I think that's it.
I don't really see any other games. Yeah.
I really don't. I don't. There's just, like I said, there's just a whole lot of teams just not playing this weekend. I don't think there's a great deal of chaos potential here, which of course means that like Cal's going to beat Oregon and every single chaos opportunity will happen just to prove me wrong. And quite frankly, I'm all here for it. Kyle, what if Virginia Tech takes down Pitt? Pitt, mind you, is the leader in their particular division in that particular conference.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, are the mighty Wake Forest playing this weekend?
They are not.
Oh man, there's another chaos potential down the drain.
Yeah, they are not playing this weekend.
Oh well. All right, chat, does anyone else here have any questions before we wrap this one up? Wake Forest for national champs. I can see it. I can't. I can't keep that joke going. Just on the real rare possibility that someone thinks I'm being serious, I cannot keep that joke going. How many sacks does Georgia get? Give me an over/under.
I have another one here, Jared.
5.5. I'm going to go under. But I think that's a good number though. I think that's a good number. I think it's probably 4 or 5.
I don't think this would be considered team chaos. Well, it's not, but Army over Wisconsin.
It's definitely not, because neither of those teams are relevant at this point. But no, Wisconsin is not a bad football team. I swear, no one will believe me, and I will keep pounding the table for Wisconsin that they're a much better football team than you would think by looking at their results.
All right, Jared. Some questions here we have from Buckeye Zach. Which out of the 4 teams the Buckeyes must play in the Big Ten would be the toughest test to get past? Penn State and Michigan State at home, Teton and Ann Arbor, or the potential Iowa matchup in the Big Ten championship game?
It's Michigan. It's Michigan if Clifford doesn't play. It's Penn State if Clifford does play. I think it just depends upon where Clifford's at.
I agree exactly with that.
It's still Penn State if Clifford plays, but I'm gonna say it's Iowa if Clifford doesn't play. I'm gonna say it's not Michigan. I'm gonna say it's Iowa.
Yep. And if we get past this 4-team gauntlet, where would this project us at the CFP bracket as far as favorable semifinal matchups?
It's fine. If Ohio State wins out, they're going to the playoffs, and everything will either happen or not happen from there. I'm not super worried about it. I'm really not super worried about the playoffs or anything like that. You're going to beat Michigan State. You're going to beat Michigan. You should beat Penn State. You should beat Iowa. You do all of that. You have an amazing strength of schedule. You have an amazing resume, and everything will be fine.
All right, next one here.
As far as like 2 versus 3 or 4 versus 1, Buckeye Zach, it's a lot of that just depends upon like if Georgia's an undefeated SEC champion, they're going to get the number 1 spot, and it doesn't matter what Ohio State does.
Yep.
I think Ohio State, if Ohio State wins out, I think that, one, they go to the playoffs, and two, they're going to get seeded higher than Cincinnati. So without any assistance from any chaos, if everything goes like standard from here on out, I think Ohio State probably moves up to, Kyle, does Ohio State move up to number 2? I think they leapfrog Cincinnati. Iowa would go down because Ohio State would have taken them down.
You look at.
They'll have a better resume than Oklahoma.
And I don't know what the college football playoff committee will choose to base their ratings this year, because it always seems to change every year. One year it will be, oh well, this team lost to this team, and then the next year it's, oh well, this team beat these teams here. So I like to see that. I would like to see, maybe this is just the homer in me, it should be who you beat. It should be who you beat. If you lose a close game against a highly ranked team, it's still a loss. You didn't beat a highly ranked team. And if you have Ohio State beating 4 teams, and let's just say they're end up all 4 of them in the top 15, 17, that's 4 wins right there that will get you in no matter what, with one loss. With one of those being a conference championship game.
I agree. That being said, I don't think Michigan State is renting territory right now.
I agree. But you know what? A lot of teams are right now that are ranked.
Oklahoma State and Kentucky come to mind. Those are teams that are just renting territory near the top 10 right now. There's a lot of teams in and near the top 10 who don't belong there because, quite frankly, no one does. As evidenced by our tier list that we do every Tuesday, the drop off from A tier to B tier is significant.
Yes. All right. Next question here. Duncan from the Discord. Can we all agree to stop with the "is Stroud a Heisman candidate" talk?
Can we all just agree to stop pretending like the Heisman is it is important, is prestigious? Can we just stop with the Heisman?
Yep, I agree.
We would put way too much weight on this thing that has clear geographic bias in how it's voted on. It's only really available to quarterbacks most of the time, with rare exceptions. It's a joke of an award, and just throw out the Heisman. I'm done with it.
Yep. All right. Nomad asks, if Cincinnati makes the playoff this year as a group of 5, will Fickell ever leave Cincinnati once they join the Big 12? I don't see why he should.
I think it's possible. If Franklin goes to USC, and if Penn State calls Fickell,
yes.
I think that's a scenario that has a whole lot of possibility to it. Now, there's a lot there, because maybe Franklin doesn't go to USC. Maybe he stays at Penn State. Okay, well then that's probably it then. That's probably it. Now, right. What if Franklin does go to USC, but Penn State, instead of going after Fickell, goes after Hafley, which I think is a very real possibility. And I think a very good possibility. There's a lot up in the air there.
Last question here from Nomad. Since it is shenanigans here, does Jimmy Harbs microwave his nachos?
Almost. Yeah, it's almost a certainty. The real question to me in regards to Jimmy Harbaugh and his nachos is, does he cut up the hot dogs first, or does he cut them up after they're put in the microwave? Is he putting his cut up hot dogs on the nachos pre or post microwaving?
He puts ice cubes in his milk.
Oh my God. That's not even a joke. That one's just accurate. I guarantee you he puts ice cubes in his D milk. That's a vitamin D milk. that he sniffed before he drank it because it's a couple days past expiration, but that ain't hurt nobody.
All right, Jared, that's all the questions we have here for today.
All right. Do you have anything in Kyle? I don't even feel like doing the thing. Patreon, pay us $3 a month and you get to hang out with these goof nuts down here in the chat. You get premium access to the Discord server. You get to listen to our recordings live. You get early access to episodes. You get access to our Secret Wednesday episode that is really just a shit show. I'm telling you guys right now, if you've ever just been like, I wish these guys would just talk and not have to worry about football and was just complete nonsense for about 30 to 40 minutes. That's what the Wednesday episode is. That's goof nuts, animaniacs. This is all accurate. That's what that episode is. And I have to say it's the episode I most enjoy recording. I don't know if it's our best episode of the week or not, but it's the one I enjoy the most. So, you get access to that. Kyle, do you have anything in Kyle's Corner?
There was a soccer game that played as we were recording, Jared.
I'm aware.
And they won.
They did. I've
Team USA with a big win in Lower.com Stadium. And for those who've been living under a rock, that is the Columbus Crew Stadium.
Yes, it is. Sometimes we just call it Crew Stadium. We also sometimes call it the Death Star. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's all I got here.
Gangland's new nickname is Patrick Star, and he has no say in it. Actually, he does have say in it because he just gave it to himself. All right, Kyle, that's it. Tonight's ending music will be by a guy who goes by the name of Saint Lennox. He is from the Cincinnati area. I believe he lived in Columbus for a minute, but I think he started his professional career in the Cincinnati area. I think he's off in you know what? Gangland, do not disrespect him. I actually think you'd really, really like him. I don't know why I base that on other than just stuff, but you be nice, damn it. So that's St. Lennox. I think he's off doing this thing in New York now, but like I said, started his career in Cincinnati. So be sure to sort of a folksy, but not old-fashioned folksy. I don't know. Singers, just like he's a singer-songwriter dude, and I enjoy him. So stick around if you're listening to this on your podcasting app. If you're listening to this on YouTube, there'll be a link down in the notes, and you can listen there. So with all of that being said, I'd like to encourage everyone to drink local beer, listen to local music, and of course, support your local podcasters. Once again, this is St. Lennox.